It's like 8:24. I am a few minutes later than I thought it was going to be. Took me a minute or two to find a couple of things. So now I'm just going to give everybody a minute to see if anybody shows up. And then we will take it from there. I certainly have everything here with me, but I'm going to give everybody a minute or two to see if they want to join in. Today is going to be a very easy craft. A very simple craft, so it's something that you can do with kids. Is that Tennessee? Is it Southern? I'm blonde. I need glasses. I need a bigger screen. I'm working on it. Tennessee Southern Hell? Is that your name? If so, that's adorable. We're making a Christmas craft tonight, which is a very easy Christmas craft, which you just need fabric, a styrofoam ball of any size, and hot glue, and something with a pointy end. I have a makeup brush with a pointy end. So that's legit all you're going to need. So I just have fabric scraps and just stuff that I need to get out of my craft room, and it's all I'm using. So we'll see how many join us as I start getting some fabric chopped up here. Hi Denise, how are you feeling this evening, Denise? I'm just making little like squares or rectangles. They don't have to be perfect. I hope you're feeling a little bit better. I'm beginning to start feeling better. I'm almost scared to say it. Scared that it will stop. Hi, Snugglepuss. I'm beginning to feel better, but that's why I was telling Denise I'm almost scared to say it out loud because I'm scared it will stop if I say it out loud. But I'm beginning to feel better. Who is it that likes it when I rip fabric so much? Because I'm fixing to do that again. So whoever enjoys that is fixing to be very happy. I'm still a little snotty, but it's getting better. Oh, good. You're crafting too. You should throw me up a picture on one of the community posts so I can see what you've done. I've got to do the dishes after this, which is not. Hey Priscilla, how you feeling, sweetie? Not looking forward to the dishes. I'm gonna make a little, what I call a posh ornament that anybody can make, just out of a styrofoam ball, fabric squares, and hot glue. I had when I had that vertigo, that last really bad attack of vertigo, they gave me steroids, and for 3 nights I had to sleep in the recliner and rock because I could not sit still. I hate steroids. Oh my gosh, like I hate steroids. So I'm just making squares of fabric right now, or rectangles, squares, whatever. They don't have to be perfect. And this is like the simplest thing. This is so easy for little ones to do. I'll get you started. Oh, do y'all remember yesterday when I told you about the lady from Michigan that moved down here that was on the internet screaming and crying? Well, the story got bigger and bigger last night as it went on. So she got on the internet and was like, I need to know who lives 2 doors down from this business close to my house because they've got a crane there and we think they're digging a well and we need to call EPA about the groundwater. And then we've heard 40 gunshots and we want to know why they need to shoot their guns so much. I mean, when you live in the land of hunting, 40 gunshots is nothing. So I responded and told her, I was like, hey, get a hunting and fishing guide. Understand that you're going to hear these things. And please don't talk about machinery, rental machinery, construction stuff being on people's home sites, because some people monitor social media just for posts like this, because they will then go steal the wood and anything else there and any rented machinery and cause that homeowner a big bunch of crap. You shouldn't do that. Just FYI. And she just double barreled me. Who do you think you are? I told her I'm retired law enforcement and you're doing something really stupid and you need to not do it because you're going to put somebody or their property at risk. And I said, she said, well, I couldn't find him to ask him. Okay, well, did you go to law enforcement? Well, no, law enforcement would have told me it was none of my business. It's none of your business. Shut up. So anyway, everybody in the community had been like scared to speak to this woman. And when I said that, they were all like, oh my God, thank you, Elizabeth. Oh my God, thank you. So I just did a public service announcement and put it out there open to the world. And this woman is such a turd. So now she hates me and she shouldn't ever moved here, and I am, a shining example of hillbillies and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I've done nothing but give you factual information and try to help you. But okay, if you want to move back to Michigan, hey, I got no beef with that. I will throw in for gas money. So she went to law enforcement, and law enforcement was like, no, you need to stop because you've called 911 like 14 times in a week over hearing gunshots in the middle of deer season. They're like, we're going to have to put a charge on you for misuse of the 911 system. All I did was create a hoop with that string, and I've glued it. And notice I glued it with the strings going on the way that they need to go to pass each other. I didn't loop it and lay it sideways. And that's because when it hangs, I want it to hang straight. I don't want it to lean one way or the other. And I'm going to glue myself 5,000 times tonight. It's just going to happen. So when you hear me cuss, I've glued my hand. And I am notorious for too much glue on the hanger because I'm one of those people that had children and that would turn spinning ornaments into an Olympic sport. So, okay, so anyway, the woman got so hostile, and I just had to block her on Facebook, and people have thanked me all day. Like 134 people have messaged me or thanked me today. And so I just said, hey, why don't we get with the Chamber of Commerce, TWRA, and law enforcement and do a pamphlet for people that if you're thinking about moving here, do a pamphlet of education, of this is what you're going to experience here. These are things that you may have problems with. This is a heads up. And, are the deer hiding in her home? No, but she lives down on one of the roads that has the most public hunting land, and so she hears a lot of gunshots. But I said, let's make these pamphlets and let's put them in area gas stations, at the Chamber of Commerce, at local retail shops, just for people that are here, like if they're visiting or they've got family members saying, hey, let's move to this little podunk town. Pick it up and send it to your family member. These are things that you're going to experience here. If you can't tolerate these things, don't move here. Because, we get normally really great implants when they make our community so much better. Like, I have a list of them that I could call in 5 seconds and they would do anything for me. They're great people. But then you get one person like this lady, and it's like having the devil move in next door. Y'all wait till something comes by her house and causes problems. I'm going to tell you a scary story right now, and I'm sitting about 2 foot from the window that I heard it, so if I start to get wiggy, you know why. When I had Causey and I was having that last bout of very bad vertigo, it was one of the first cooler nights in the evening where we had turned off the AC units. There was nothing on. The house was just absolutely, you could hear a pin drop. And it just had gotten dark, and we were sitting in the recliner. The recliner was in eyeball distance of this window. And I thought I heard a whistle. And so I just kind of turned the TV down a spot or two, and I noticed that Causey, who was in my lap, went started looking and listening to. And I started petting him, going, no, 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 we don't hear anything. We're just sitting here in the recliner playing. We don't hear nothing. We don't act like we hear nothing. And so I just kept going. I heard it 2 more times. And if you grow up in Appalachia, you know, if you hear a whistle after dark, you don't pay it no mind. It does not exist, and you just slowly and deliberately walk to the nearest building and get safe. And some of y'all go, how rural do you live? I have a pistol right there. I'm always got a pew pew somewhere close to me. I'm always armed. But I heard that, and it repeated itself twice, and it was right by the window. And I gave it absolute no invite or intention, and it stopped and went on. I told my husband, for a week when my son would come over, his big 70-pound dog, Che, would not go past the shop in the backyard near the fence going down to the creek. We've got a freshwater spring down there. The dog would not go in the backyard. I've got a cough drop in my mouth so I don't choke on snot. That's the nicest way to put that, isn't it? So anyway, I've asked somebody, and people are like, why don't you write this pamphlet for people moving here? Why don't you do it? Well, the thing is I think it needs to be done by somebody who had absolutely no energy in what happened yesterday. That way it could not be deemed, as like something I wanted to do. It just needs to be a neutral pamphlet made for people that are thinking about moving here. Okay, I have a makeup brush. That's all it is. I just need something with a pointy end. I actually have a little dowel that I normally use, but because my husband uses it to lace furs, I'm not going to stick what goes through fur hides into this. Not going to do it. Snugglepuss says, do you have strays? We have everything here. We have foxes that den over the hill. We have bobcats. We actually have mountain lions on trail cams. We got black bear that come through. We've got everything here. So, but that was the first time in my entire life in Appalachia that I heard a whistle. Wasn't going there. What you're going to do is going to take your makeup brush or whatever you use. Whatever you're going to use is going to have glue on it when you get done. So don't use a pen or something that you want to use again that's important to you. And you're just going to make a hole. And I do it fairly deep. And I have a high heat gun, so I'm going to go ahead and put some glue down in that hole because I know it's going to stay hot for a long time. And then you're going to take the right side of your fabric. You're going to cup the right side of your fabric around your makeup brush or whatever you're using as a jabber. Always put it around it and kind of twist it. And then you're going to take it and you're going to push it right down in your hole. I made that sound way more drastic than it was. And it's going to make that. And you're going to repeat the process about 15,000 times. So normally what I do is I will like pre-make me some holes. And you kind of get to where you can see how close or far apart they need to be as you go. And you can always like correct yourself and respace them if you need to. I need something for this to sit in because it's going to roll away from me. Hey, that candle came in handy. Okay, so I'm just going to move on with the next hole and put a little bit of glue in there. Coordination skills are at a low today, people. I'm telling y'all. I'm going to take my next little piece of fabric, wrap it around my makeup brush, and push it in there. And move on to the next hole. Now, it's going to look like a mess for a few minutes, and then as it starts to take form, it'll start to look really cute. And I like to make them tight. Some people like to use really big pieces of fabric and make them really poofy. It just depends on how I'm feeling today. I have the Vicks nasal spray, but it burns. Yeah, these are super easy. And literally, little kids can do them too as long as they can be respectful of the hot glue. That's the only thing you need to watch out for. Make sure they're respectful of the hot glue. And you can always, like, if something's sticking up farther than the others, you can always trim it. And, you know, so there is, I mean, there is no defeat to this. You can dress it up and fix it up until you decide to hang it on the tree. You know, it's constantly in a place where you can fix it if it needs to be fixed. Okay. So this is, I mean, this is really, I think the bigger ones are cute, and I make them out of fabric that I can hang up somewhere all year long. But my mother made a whole bunch of little tiny ones one year, and she's kept them for, oh my gosh, how long. And they're really cute. And she did them navy blue, hunter green, and red, and they turned out really cute. So you can do them in like your kitchen colors and hang them. I like to hang stuff from my kitchen curtains. I have actually have little prisms hanging from my kitchen curtains right now. Okay, see, and I'm going to have to put one in the middle here because that is too big of a gaping hole. So this is really easy. Hey, Gypsy, you caught me. I hadn't made one of these in several years since the kids were little, so this is kind of a memory lane thing for me. Put my glue in the hole I made with my makeup brush, put my fabric right side on to my makeup brush, and stick it down a hole. This is also one of those more peaceful evenings at home, because I have some stuff that you can work up a sweat doing. So it was not the evening for one of those tonight. It was not the evening for one of those. Now, I did one of these split one year and did one color and one the other, one side the other, and it was really cute. Yeah, that Vic stuff, yeah, it will make you feel like you've got like hot lava or something extremely cold. I mean, it's a feeling. It is very, you know the feeling. You will never forget the feeling. Yeah, that big stuff is super powerful. It's also super expensive, so I don't use it a lot. I use the saline flush mostly, just because it's really good for your sinuses. So I just use that. Okay, we're starting to cover some ground now. And I'm learning about how close I need to put these, so we'll start picking up the pace now. Has anybody thought of any more love songs for Daniel? I did make the community post so we could add our love song list to it. Had a few people post to it last night too. I was up thinking about that. I couldn't sleep well last night, and I was up thinking about more songs that we could recommend for him. This is going to look like a Holstein cow by the time I get done. Which, that'd be cute. Hey, you could put little horns on it and make it a cow. If I have enough fabric of this to do the whole thing. That'd be the kicker. I've got some that's very similar. Should I run low? Nothing matches in my house. Nothing matches in my house. You fell asleep at 4. I do not sleep well. I either sleep really good or not at all, and it depends on my legs and my neuromuscular crap that's going on. And last night was just not the best night for me. And so I was laying there thinking about songs. And you know, when you're trying to think about stuff like that, it's like your brain blocks you. I don't know what it is. So I was having like writer's block for my love song list. See, starting to get a little hairdo now. Looks like a Cabbage Patch Kid. You look like a rummage sale. My kitchen table is a mess right now, but it's where I knew if I moved my craft stuff off my kitchen table, I would not do it. I would selectively forget to on purpose. And so I didn't, when I was sick, I did not move anything because I knew if I moved it, I would ignore it. And so I have dealt with my dirty kitchen and my piled up kitchen table. And, but it feels good to actually be back to doing something. I don't like being sick, y'all. I mean, I'm sick on a daily basis anyway, but when I get something that is really bad, I'm miserable. My social skills, you know, they're limited because of I have to be home because of my health. And then you add on that I don't feel like doing the few things that bring me joy. It can get you down really quick. Really quick. I'm trying to get my laptop squared away so I can use it with StreamYard so that we can have voice stream. We can have voice chat instead of just me doing this. So I'm working on that too. I may, if I have enough of this black and white, I may turn this into a cow. My daughter-in-law is a cow freak. Hey, I did 3 loads of laundry today. I felt so freaking accomplished, and I hung up my husband's uniforms, and I washed a load of the big blankets that I put on the bed, the extra blankets for the colder nights. Even though I have 5,000 quilts, we don't use our pretty quilts, we use blankets. And then last night when I couldn't sleep, oh my God, I need to stop shopping when I don't feel good. I've been wanting a new bed set, a new comforter set for a while, and I couldn't sleep last night. And I found a kind of like Western farm. It was the buffalo check, but then it had like deer skulls on it, and it was so completely me. Dadgummit if I didn't break down and push the buy it now button, I ought to be beat. But I got a really good deal on it. It was, I mean, it came with 2 shams, and it was only like $37. I mean, it's like it's not one of the like super nice ones, but it's new. And where my husband works in a automotive fabrication plant, nothing lasts long in my house because he brings home the black powder. Oh, you're running on generators, so you can't. Yeah, we used to when we were building. We had to be careful because I had to plug stuff up on all opposite breakers, or I would blow the breaker and turn everything off, and my husband have to reset everything, and he got really irritated when I did that. When we were building the addition, that was one of his pet peeves with me, because you know, women, we get busy, you know, cleaning and washing, and we forget those little things like that. And he would have to open that big metal door, and because we were under construction, and reset everything, and it was such a pain in the butt for him to do. He would get so mad at me. Oh, you have chicken pox. Oh my gosh, I remember having chicken pox. I got them when I was in 2nd or 3rd grade, and I had to stay home, and I legit would just soak every day in the tub with oatmeal and baking soda. And lo and behold, I got chicken pox the week of Shark Week on National Geographic, and it was like the first time in my life my parents had like TV. And I was so happy. I was sick during Shark Week, and I got to watch all the shark shows. Yeah, where is Daniel? Did I miss him? Is he here this evening already? I can't hardly watch and write and do all this at the same time. I was going to ask him if he talked to his woman today. And if he saw the few songs that got recommended yesterday. Which when I sit down, I'll add several to it myself. I just got to sit down and do it. Look, y'all, we're getting there. So when these hang up, they actually look quite posh. Like, I saw one in the florist. There's a little lady that has like a florist specialty shop, and she had one that was like $27, and I was like, that is like a fat square of material and a styrofoam ball. Sometimes I feel really gypped by places like that. I just want to stand there and tell people, don't buy that. You can make it for $2. I don't think the shopkeeper would really appreciate that, but you know. Okay, I'm going to try to stay toward the top just in case I have to make a fabric change. And I'm going to be putting a little ribbon right here where the glue is, so there will not be a bald spot at the end. There will be a little ribbon tied there. Dang it, I dropped my makeup brush. And it rolled. It traveled. Oh, good grief. Did you know that we're expecting more storms Wednesday, like Wednesday or Thursday? I'm kind of over the entire storm thing. And we've got storm damage here. It broke all my flagpoles. Well, it popped a thing at the tin roof up, and it tore down part of my soffit over my kitchen windows here, which they need to be repaired anyway, but I just didn't want to be forced to do it, you know, something I kind of wanted to do on my own when I had the money. So I'm thinking about just calling insurance and saying, listen, I had just enough storm damage to just come on in and say, do a claim. Because I got to looking, well, I got to looking, I had David get to looking, let's just be honest, I didn't look. And it tore that soffit down, and it tore another big piece over behind my garden window, and it tore another big piece right where my front porch hooks into the front, and messed some pieces of tin up. And we had our stovepipe undone for cleaning and fixing some stuff, and it's a wonder it didn't grab it and chuck it out of the house and take off with it. We got lucky there. We put up a 3-ply stovepipe just for safety precautions because we use wood heat during the winter. And we had just set it there because we were cleaning out the bottom, and then we put 3-ply on the top, and we were cleaning it, and we were going to reconnect the bonnet, and then we were going to tighten up a couple spots. And David said, just leave it until my next day off. Not thinking when the storms come through, hey, that stovepipe has a bonnet, which is basically a parachute. So, you need to pay attention to what you're doing. We thought about it when it wiggled and it moved, and I went over there to grab it. So had there been a tornado that had come through my house, I would have probably died hanging on to the stovepipe like an idiot. Instead of ducking and diving under something, I would have been hanging on to the stovepipe. Oh, are you going to donate to the big? That's great. And the Mayfield, Kentucky has got a lot of funding options open for people to send stuff in. I noticed that. And I think our local Hope Chest is doing some kind of drive that's going to be taken up there. So I will pitch in on whichever that I have the most stuff for, I'm sure. And then we had a family move here the other day, and they have no, like, they moved here from a long ways away, and they have no Christmas stuff. And I've got like an extra tree and a bunch of extra ornaments and stuff, so I was going to see if they wanted to come over and rummage through and take what they could use, because they've got little kids, like little 5 and 6 and 7-year-olds, and to not have a Christmas tree when you're that little, no, we cannot allow that. It will not happen on my watch. My daughter went through all her clothes last weekend when she was here for Thanksgiving. Of course, she is a size 0, so I'm sure it helps absolutely no one. But I did donate boots to a family. I had one pair that actually fit a friend, and then I had a couple more pair that I donated to her to give to her younger daughters have younger friends. And so I told her to take them and give them to whoever could wear them. And then we have a local Hope Chest, which you can donate stuff, and they sell it for like 50 cents to $1, or you can go up there and buy, you can buy people shopping sprees. And, you know, people that are prideful will take a shopping spree. It's just, what it is they get a card that says they have, you know, X amount of dollars to spend, and all they got to do is shop and present that card. So, you know, they don't have to be singled out. Somebody drops that in the mail to them, and they get to come up and shop. And so they do it, and they don't feel, I guess they don't feel like they're being, you know, called out. And so we have a really good Hope Chest that does the shopping sprees. And I sponsored several of those last year. And then when I got sick this year, I had months where my medicine was $800 a freaking month. And so this year I have not been as helpful because I have been so freaking poor from what I've had to get over this mastoiditis. You know, and I have Blue Cross Blue Shield insurance. Tell me in what world I should ever have that kind of a bill after I pay several $100s a month for insurance. Yeah, medical poor, that's it. I remember when I worked for the state, I only ever got, in all the years of work there, I only ever got a 1.5% raise. But you know how much my insurance went up? 17%. My insurance went up 17% while I worked there, but I only ever got a 1.5 cost of living raise. How is that impossible? And I knew the governor. Like, I had to work with him on clemencies and stuff. And I legit was like, dude, how is this even, like, how can you see your employees and think you're doing them right when this is happening? And he was like, well, I don't make those decisions. And he was the governor that owned all the pilot stores. I said, you wouldn't understand them either because you're so filthy rich. Well, that's not nice, Elizabeth. I said, it wasn't meant to be nice. It was meant to be true. He did not care for me that much. It was mutual. But, yeah, I got to thinking about that the other day. I was doing end-of-year finances. And I looked at David and I said, I don't know how we did this when I was sick this spring and summer. I said, do you realize how much we were out of pocket? And of course, we had to meet our deductible, which was done fairly fast, and I thought things would get better then. But it didn't, because it was a medication that they were not sure if it would work, and they were not sure if it was being prescribed for the right reasons, and so I could try to get on one of the plans that would help me pay for it at cost with a family plan through the people that created the medicine. And I was like, why do I give you all hundreds and hundreds of dollars a month and get bupkis in return? My insurance company, they hate it when I call. I know they do, but that's okay. That's their job. They'll get over it. They will get over it. So we're starting to see how it's starting to do now. It's starting to, of course, all the weight's making it hankering. This is what we're starting to get. So you can imagine when it's all done, and then I put a big bow there. So does anybody think that you're going to go and attempt this? Now you can make these out of florist frogs too. I don't like the way that they flake and fall apart, so I use the styrofoam balls. Literally, whatever you have handy, you can make it work. Anybody going to try this? I'm telling you, it's really good for little ones. And it's really good for little ones that need help with like fine motor skills. Now, I would recommend a low temp glue gun for little ones. Well, good. For sure, she's gonna try it. I would recommend a low temp gun for the little guys. And you could even use like Aleene's tacky glue and take the hot glue out of it completely, you know, and just leave it to dry somewhere. And they just can't give it a, you know, haircut. They can't give it a haircut until it's dry, you know, in case they need to trim it or something. You want to sneak a mistletoe sprig on top. Does anybody still go out and actually shoot mistletoe out of the trees? Or is that just me? Is it just me? That is something we still do around here. We know where all the trees that make mistletoe are, and so we will go shoot a couple of clumps out every year. We have a few people that want a sprig or two every year, and so when David's out trapping and he sees it, he'll just pop a piece or two out, let it fall, and then he'll pick it up on his way back. A lot of people, you know, they don't know where it comes from, and so when I'll say stuff like, "Did you shoot it out this year?" and they're like, "Shoot it out? Doesn't it grow out of the ground?" I get tickled with people that they finally figure out where mistletoe comes from. They're like, "Oh!" I am just on the daily, always caught by surprise by how much people don't know about where they live. And like they don't know mistletoe grows up in the tops of trees. I took these two old ladies on a trail ride when I was guiding horse trails and cutting horse trails when I was a teenager. And we went through a big patch of mountain laurel. And that woman looked at her friend and said, "Clara, I didn't know rhododendron grew wild." I about fell off my horse. Yeah, that's that lady. I should tell that lady it's okay. It's done so everybody can get Christmas kisses. No deer are being harmed. She still would have found something sassy to say about that. But I remember that old woman, her glasses about fell down her nose. "Clara, I didn't know rhododendron grew wild." And I looked at her and I said, "Yeah, mountain laurel. Don't let your horse eat it. It'll make their stomach upset." And I thought, wow, that was the strangest thing I've ever seen. There I was, 13, 14, and this woman was probably 65. Had no clue. Because when I was little, I worked in places, you know, where people had money, in these big walking horse barns or in these big trail ride facilities. I would always run across those, you know, really wealthy people that did not have a freaking clue. Look, he's getting to be about halfway done now. Isn't it pretty? You're gonna need a haircut. Definitely gonna need a haircut. This is the stringiest material I think I've ever had in my life. I'm gonna have to cut me more fabric squares. Ran into a clump of glue on that one. Oh, that's cute. They found cattails and buried them in the yard to make kittens. That's adorable. I waded across a pond that had drained down because of the summer dry spell, and I'd waded across to the little island that the drought had made in the middle because there was a little bird that had her nest there, and there were the brightest blue eggs. I lost both my tennis shoes in the mud because they suctioned in, but I made it to the island. And when my daddy finally heard me squalling, I had that nest in my hand, just booking it like a Jesus lizard on top of the water. Back to the barn. Because I didn't want to give up my pretty blue eggs. I wanted to hatch them and see what they were. And that mama bird was just a dive bombing me the whole way. And I was screaming for my dad to help, and he had his chaps on. He had stopped shooting a horse, come to the edge of the barn. He just stood there, and I said, why didn't you help me? And he said, you deserved what you got. And he said, go put her babies back. And so I had to walk the whole way back and put that bird's nest back, and I got bombed the whole way back. My dad made it a learning experience. See? I've lost so many articles of clothing to mud holes in my life. It's pathetic. Of course, I was always the younger sister, so my brother would always say, oh, my truck will make it through this mud hole. Well, he wouldn't think about it. We had the old kind you had to, get up and lock and unlock the hubs. And he'd be like, oh, no, my truck can make it through this mud hole. And then halfway through the mud hole, let's get out there and lock them hubs. Well, you could have told me to do that about a quarter-mile back, and I would be going home dry and not filthy. But I think part of the fun for him was making me get out and wade the mud and lock the hubs. So that was my job. But yeah, I lost quite a bit of shoes. Now I decided to go fishing one day when I was in 4th grade, and I wasn't supposed to go fishing. I decided to take off and go fishing at a pond I wasn't supposed to go fishing at, because I had to cross by a Brahma bull that probably could have killed me if I thought about it. And I went off to go fishing, and was not thinking about how much it had rained and the spillway where it was a man-made pond. They had stocked it. And I had on brand new, like, Laredo boots. Brand new. Like, one of the very few new pair of boots I had when I was a child. I can count them on one hand. When I got my left foot stuck in that mud and my foot came up, my boot was not on it. It wouldn't have mattered if that bull had made a beeline for me or not. I was there until I got my boot back. And then I just completely abandoned the fishing trip and went home and cleaned my boot off and mourned that my new leather had gotten wet. So I had to dry them inside very carefully. Put stretchers in them so that they wouldn't contort up as they dried, I was so mad at myself. Never did go back to fish at that pond. I'm going to try to even out right through here with what I've got left. And then I think I'm going to make the bottom white or black, and I think I'm going to turn him into a cow. Only because I have a daughter-in-law that is a cow fanatic. Anything with a cow, she must have. The first year after they got married, I bought her a cow blanket. It was a Holstein patterned blanket, and it was really nice. It was Sherpa lined. And she keeps sending me pictures of little bottle-fed calves going, is this going to be my Christmas present? And I'm like, you never know. And she knows I'm not going to buy her a real cow, because I would have to keep it at my barn lot. But, this may be the perfect opportunity to make a fake cow. And be like, there's your cow. And in every picture she sent me of a cow, it has had pink ribbons around its ears. So I'll have to put pink ribbons around its ears. So I'll have to make it ears and horns and put pink ribbons around its ears. So I guess that's where this one's going to end up. It has decided. Now, I made a little dog that looked like Oscar last year, and I started out trying to make a little Highland cow, and it decided it wanted to be Oscar, and it turned into Oscar. And one more round. lo and behold, I decided I didn't want to keep it. Well, there was a lady that messaged me the other day. I was going to put it up for sale on my Etsy shop. There's a lady messaged me the other day, asked me if I still had that she would like to buy it. And I said, you don't have to buy it, honey. I'll send it to you. And, because I know her. She just had brain surgery. And so I've decided that next time I get to the post office, I've got stuff I've got to send to Priscilla, and I'll just make another box and send that little dog to her. It's very cute. It's very cute. If I get up here in a second, I'll bring it over and let you see it. I'm constantly trying to make something, and then it'll end up being something else, and it just kind of has to transform into whatever it wants to be. I try not to force the issue. I have a mouse. I hear a mouse. A mouse has moved in after the storms, and you're marked for death, little guy. You better move on. My exterminator takes his job very seriously. Okay, that's what I have so far. I've got some other fabric here I can match in and fill the top half in. Then I think I'm going to do a black or white bottom, and I'll make the hooves out of leather. I'll make the hooves, the horns, and nose out of leather pieces, and ears out of leather pieces. My Etsy shop was actually, it's my husband's Etsy shop. I claim it because I'm the one that has to load everything onto it. It is Hillbilly Hearts Decor. I think there's only 7 or 8 things on it right now. But I'm going to try to make some gnomes tomorrow. And so if I make a gnome, it'll be a gnome with a leather hat, either holding a wood round or these tiny little honey spoons. So if I make a gnome tomorrow, it will be probably loaded for sale. Now, it will be a gnome that will be about 12 to 18 inches tall and have a real leather hat, and he will be pimped out holding stuff. He won't be a plain Jane, and he will have a beard made of that really, really luxurious yarn. So if I make stuff for me, I make it out of whatever I can find. If I make it for other people, I make it out of really good stuff. I completely gyp myself, but I pull out the good stuff for other people. That's what my mom would do too. My mom was the same way. Let's see how much I can use this gray to patch. This was London. It had little London buses, double-decker buses on it. I made a quilt for a friend that was a Queen fan. Is there anyone that would like to have a gnome? Is there anyone? And my gnomes look more like little, you could probably leave them out all year long because I don't make them specifically for Christmas. But they have leather hats, and they would either hold a wood round that you can write something on, or they'll have a spoon, and I put little arms together, so they have little arms. And they're made out of socks, brand new socks. Now I'm not using old one, brand new socks that I put pinto beans in the bottom so they stand up, and then I fill them with fluff the rest of the way. So they're very cute. They're about 10 inches round and about 12 to 16 inches tall, depending on the hat. And I can make them have brown, blonde, auburn, or black hair, beard. And I can do the girl gnomes too, where the girls have the pigtails. They have the pigtails, and then I make a little smile line on their face. So if anyone would like a gnome, he needs one for his desk. If anyone would like a gnome, I can make them to your specifications. and either throw it up on Etsy for you to buy, or you can do a private PayPal. It's, I mean, whatever you feel comfortable with, it doesn't matter. A lot of people would rather go through an Etsy sale just to have the protection, and I'm fine with that. So I would get with them and be like, posting it in 5 minutes, and they would literally stand by. And as soon as I posted it, they would click buy. I've done that several times with people. And that's because they wanted the protection, you know, a protected sale. And I completely get that, so it didn't bother me at all. David is, you know, he'll have people that, I want this beaver hoop, you need to get with him, and then I spend a whole evening trying to coordinate some guy halfway across the nation a beaver hoop sale, and I really need to teach him how to do it, so he has to also suffer through losing an evening. He does not understand. I just got glue all over that. That may not stick. Oh, it did. But if anyone would like one, I could probably get at least 1 or 2 done tomorrow. Okay, 007, you have a good night. Rest. I hope you rest good. Yeah, if you do a private sale, you don't have to pay the Etsy fees, which is fine. But if people feel safer paying through Etsy, I don't mind paying the fee. Some people are completely distrustful of the internet, and I understand completely. So I don't mind to work with them at all. And I also, if you need a cat or a dog to go with your gnome that looks like your child or something, I'll whip that up too. I'm one of those. Like all the gnomes that I make for my family this year, they will have their animals with them. Like Lane will have a little Chatac, and Kaylee will have a little Ruger. She's got a little cat named Ruger. Haley will have a little Oscar, and Joe will have a Labrador named Nala. So I have to whip up the corresponding animals. So if you want to order a gnome and your child has an animal best bud, then I will make a tiny little animal best bud to stand beside them as well. So, dadgummit, I have dropped that how many times now? Enough to be irritated with myself. Oh goodness. And I normally make them out of felt and wire and fabric and yarn, in case you're wondering what the animals are normally made out of. So that's how that goes. So if anyone is interested, let me know, because tomorrow will be a good day for me to sit around and do that. Dang it, I'm dropping everything. Or you can email me at watersworkload@gmail.com. I've got to check my email. I haven't checked it yesterday. So if you email me, don't freak out. I'll get to you. You can email me if you have a specific one that you would like to order. And depending on what all that goes in them, because I use the yarn that's like $8 a skein because it makes prettier beards. And I use the real leather from the leather shop down here at the Amish for the hats. So it's going to last. It's going to be a gnome. It's going to last. It's not going to crap out after 1 year. So, you know, they're not super cheap, but they're not as expensive as some of the crap that I see people sell. I see some people sell stuff, and I'm like, I would not put my name on that. And apparently they have a whole shop dedicated to it. And I'm like, wow. Never would have thought that. But you know, when people don't feel artistically inclined, they will pay lots of money for some people to make really ugly things. And I'm like, man, you should have held out and waited for somebody that could have made it pretty. You know, I bet you I could give him a smooth cow tummy too. Ooh, I hadn't thought about that. Okay, there's going to be the top of our cow. I'll have to trim a little bit. I'm thinking about felting him and then giving him dangly legs and doing the horns and stuff. I think we could do that. Have you ever tried to do the felting with a needle where you felt and it just grows and you turn it into something? Hey, that would be awesome. Okay, yep. I'll look for an email later. Thank you so much. So fancy. It does look like after it dries for a while and you can scruff it up. Like you can really manhandle it and fruff it up, you know. And then you can trim it and it really does look like a little like flower bloom almost. But I'm gonna felt him. I'm gonna felt his little butt, give him a tail and legs, and leather hooves and leather horns and a nose and face. I'll have to find googly eyes somewhere. I may give him a big brown nose. Let's see what all I got. I've got some leather right there. That'll be enough for what I need. Here's some black felt. I hope I didn't put a needle in here and I find it while I'm doing this in front of y'all. That would be, wouldn't you just love to hear me squall? Come on out. My goodness. Okay, I'm going to need at least one cotton ball. Now this is where my mind has to start clicking and I have to make it a work in progress to figure out what in the crap I'm doing. That's how my brain works. My mother does patterns. I cannot do patterns. It literally has to tell me what it wants to be. And then I make it. You felt the bagger if you needed. I want to learn how to do those people that felt like over in Ireland and they do like the foxes and the big cattle and it's so pretty. Oh yeah, you could do it. Yeah, you make it look like I've got some really pretty peach material, and I could do that and put a bottom on it, make it look like a hanging basket. That would be cute. I go into these things and I never quite know. I never quite know what I'm going to make, because it just has to talk to me. And I know most people probably think that's strange, but it just has to talk to me. My mother said I was like the MacGyver of crafting. She's like, you can leave you with a paper clip and a napkin. She said, come back and God knows what you have. It's true. And my mother's one of those that gets the pattern and has to have everything laid out in front of her. And I'm like, nope. Okay. Now I'll have to have a dart to overlay. Never underestimate the importance of a good dart. Okay, let's start gluing. We'll just, if I have to tear it apart and try again, we will. Go through crafter's block. No, I've done that. I normally start much earlier, but where I was sick this year, I was getting nothing done in a hurry all year. I can't recall ever being so sick as I was this year. It was just a pathetic year. I've got a ladybug up in my light fixture. That's how I know it's going to storm again. They're all coming in. Okay, little feller, let's diaper you up here, Bubba. I will trim off the excess. Because I have a high heat gun, I have to hold it for a minute and be nice to it to make it stick. And then I will trim him off. I never know. See, I really thought I was just going to make that punch ornament when I started. So I never know what I'm going to do. Don't y'all feel special? Getting to watch it happen. I burnt my finger. Getting to watch it happen as it occurs. Burn it again. I'm really good at burning my fingers. Like that's like my chief skill, burning my fingers. Oh, I used to do that and start super early, and as they got older, it was less and less early. But then I would also wait until like right around September. We would have a lot of like festivals in the area, so there'd be a lot of crafting, and I would wait and like buy certain things there, and then I'd bring them home and I would then use them to make my own. I'd use them as a pattern to make my own. And so I got to where I would wait then for the crafting shows that we would go through and the festivals. And so it just got later and later every year, it seems, as they got older. And this year I am super, super late. I should at least be a month ahead of where I am, but where I got sick again. It's just been one of them years. Because normally the kids know when they start coming in now that they have to be careful where they go in the house, because I normally have stuff stashed and hid, and I'm one of those. And they'll ask me, Mom, can I go in this room? And it's normally because I've got stuff hid. And I have just been really, really behind this year. Of course, I've been sick. That's, you know, I have an excuse, but it still is really frustrating that I have been as sick as I've been. And just tardy. I feel like I'm just tardy. Okay, I've got that edge up. So I've got this edge up. I'm starting to make my darts and go around and glue. This is like the more tedious part of it, which that's okay. Not a big deal. My nose is running again, y'all. I've gotten tangled up in all my little fabric rips. Yep, Etsy store is Hillbilly Heart Decor. It's mostly fur items, but like I said, if you want something specific, I can whip it up and put it on there and you can grab it. A lot of people prefer the safety of a protected payment, and that's fine. I don't mind. And I will probably switch back to my Gorilla Glue here in a minute to do some of the more delicate gluing that I want it to hold indefinitely. But now for the stuff that I sell, I always use the Gorilla Glue. But when it's stuff that I make at home, I use whatever I have handy. But if you purchase something from me, it's going to be Gorilla glue sticks. And them puppies don't give. Did you read about that woman that used Gorilla Glue spray on her hair and then sued and got a butt ton of money? Not particularly too happy with these glue sticks right now. But yeah, she used Gorilla Glue spray on her hair instead of hairspray. Aha! See, your daughter does stuff like that too, see? I love the Gorilla Glue hot glue sticks. I love it. I mean, it's some good stuff. It's some good stuff. And that's why anything that I sell, I use the Gorilla Glue sticks on it, because that stuff does not let go. And if I'm gonna make something for sale, I'm gonna make it to where it's gonna outlive me. So I try to use the best of the best. I'm gonna have to get me a new glue gun. This one has just about done its due. It's been with me quite a while, though. I can't fault it. Been with me quite a while. Cannot fault it. The Gorilla Glue, they're like $8 for a bag, but they're good. I mean, I've used it to bond skulls to boards, to presentation boards. I mean, it will be there. Wherever you put it, it will stay. I have to cut the felt off in certain directions so that I can come back and hide legs and places to hook in the face and stuff, and so it looks a little messy right now. But it won't stay that way for very long. I just have to be super careful when I'm gluing black because I cannot see it. I have already burnt myself. Well, you've heard me. Okay, sit here and hold this for a second, let it dry. The only thing I don't like about the off-brand glue is I have to sit here and hold it and let it dry. The Gorilla Glue will immediately hang on, and I don't have to do this. Even with a high temp gun, it will just hang on. You don't have to babysit it. But the generic glue, you have to babysit. So we're getting here. And I will eventually tuck this up under and pull the flowers down. The fur down over. That was a lot of glue right there. Go ahead and start pulling that down. Burnt myself again. Talk about whistling after dark, and there I go and do it. I ought to be smacked. Anybody else hear me do that? I ought to be smacked. I'm gluing this, pushing just a little bit of the leftover glue up, and then pulling the top down over to hold it. Basically, so it looks like his pants are tucked in. Hey, MW Crom, how are you? You caught us crafting. I'm currently about to burn my fingers, but I'll be with you in just a second. I'm trying to get this edge stuck, so as I work my way around, I won't have to go back and second guess anything. Okay, now I've got my hands. Let me make sure I am plugged up. Okay. If my phone shuts off, y'all will know what I'm building here. I'm making this little mock cow for my daughter-in-law. It says it's plugged up, but my phone is crazy, so sometimes it will charge and sometimes it won't. It says it's charging right now. Let me get this section dried here, and I'll show you the progress we've made. And then I'll give you an idea of what I'm going to do for legs and ears and tails and stuff. Yeah, MW Crom is a rather respected personality in the true crime department. And she's been on several panels, and I always really enjoy her take on things. She's always calm and very just point blank well stated, you know, and I always enjoy listening to her. I've seen her on several panels, and she says what she means, and she means what she says, and she doesn't have to say it twice, and I respect people like that. So welcome to our side of the YouTube. We are trying to craft tonight. I have been sick and gotten behind on my Christmas crafting, and it makes me feel better after being sick to craft. So here we are, repeatedly burning our fingers together. We did have a good little conversation about some new people that we've had move into our neighborhood from up north. And, you know, we always have such good implants from the north. We normally have people move in that we really are glad moved into our neck of the woods. And we had a humdinger of a woman move in about 2 weeks ago, and she's just, I tell you what, I'd rather have stink bugs in my kitchen. She's been a pain in the yazoo. So it's been an interesting couple of weeks in my neck of the woods. Oh, I love, like, my mother-in-law has everything cow printed in her kitchen. And I love it's Kimball and something. He makes a cow cookie jar that is ginormous and that I have inwardly coveted for the last 4 or 5 years. But it's like $100. And I keep, you know, quietly reminding my husband that is just a monster cookie jar that is it's so beautifully done. It looks like a real cow. Maybe one day I'll get it. I'd say what will probably happen is he will think I'm hinting around for my daughter-in-law. Oh, I burnt myself again. And so he'll buy it for my daughter-in-law, thinking I was hinting around for me to buy it for my daughter-in-law. She'll get it before I will. But that's okay. Hi, Oscar. How you doing? Did you come to say hi? Did you come to say hi? Did you? Can you jump up here and say hi? Did you say hi? Say my little smish face baby. He's my little smish face baby. He's an only child again. Have it anonymously delivered. He did buy me a very pretty ring for my anniversary, so I can't be too mad at him. Okay. A cow butt is on. Our cow butt is on. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the face here because it's higher, and I'm going to put the tail hanging back here because it's lower. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a round, not a round, I'm going to cut a nose out of leather. Let me find my leather. I threw my leather up here a minute ago. If my phone dies, I swear y'all, it says it's charging. You check it one more time. It says it's charging, so we should be okay. Okay, here is my leather. It's a dark brown leather. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a cow-shaped nose. Y'all know it's kind of a square rectangle for those of y'all who knows what a cow nose looks like. Okay. Imperfect, but there it is. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it right there. And I'm going to put little black slits. And I probably will put a little pink tongue as soon as I find some pink felt somewhere. I'm going to have to make him eyes. Which we can do. We can do that. Oh, look, I even found pink. See, ask and you shall receive. Okay, I can make him some eyeballs too. I ain't found nothing I can't do yet. So let's see. I'm going to cut one of my hat strings off if I ain't careful. We're getting there. Man logic. Yeah, men have a whole different way of seeing things, I swear. Let's see, how do I do this? I want to do this like this. I want him to kind of have a derpy face. Does that make sense? I think if he has a derpy face, he'll be cuter. Okay. So, let's see. He's going to hang like this. I want his eyes right here. Okay, his eyes are going to be right here. Let me get him glued real quick. Eyes right there. We still want his hair froofy. There's his eyes. Okay, I'm going to put his nose on. Just trim that up a little bit. Putting his nose on. I'm going to give him a tongue. Because it's a cow. Y'all know how cows have like one side of their tongue is sandpaper and the other side's not. Y'all know that, right? And so if you got a cow licking you, you always want to make sure you know which side of the tongue is coming at you. Because it can hurt, man. Okay, Mr. Moo Moo, let's put your tongue on. his tongue on. Now I'm going to give him little breathing holes in his nose and give him eyeballs. Hang on. Right here he is right now. We're getting there. We cut him some eyeballs. Don't you cut your eyes at me. It was the first thing I thought of when I said that. But I'm cutting his eyes. Now I need to get these as close, as similar as possible, but if they're not super similar, it's okay because it will just add to the derpy look. And derpy, you know, derpy does well. Everybody's attracted to the derpy look. And I always try to make one slightly bigger than the other, just because it gives them a little bit of personality. My husband says it looks like they've got the bloat. I used to make little cow hats. For Halloween, for Lane's classes as he grew up. Let me tell you what, those kids loved making cow hats. And all it was a felt wrapped around their head, and you made big eyes. And those kids loved those cow hats. And they could put a tail on the back if they wanted a tail on the back. I may actually go and get into my makeup kit and get some old eyelashes and give him eyelashes later. That would be cute. I'm fixing to give him nostrils. Let me give him nostrils and then I'll show you where we are. If anybody wants to send me anything for Christmas, brand new pair of fabric scissors would be epic because mine keep getting used for everything but fabric. And considering that my children grew up with me quilting, they know better. But for some reason, they still do it. White may not be the best color for this. I don't know. Okay, now we can use that. That'll work. Don't you roll away. Stick on your nose. Be quiet. Yeah, I think I'm definitely going to go into my makeup and find some, oh, I just burnt myself again, find some old eyelashes and give him eyelashes tonight. Okay, so there's his little eyes, there's his nose with his breathing holes in his tongue. So I'm going to give him eyelashes tonight, and I've got to give him ears and horns. What do y'all think so far? I'm going to give him big shaggy ears. I may give him short little stubby legs and just glue on some wooden beads so he stands up. Yeah, I think I may just do that. Is he turning out cute? She will undoubtedly fall in love with him. Because I'm here to tell you, she is a cow freak. Okay, making his ears now. Okay, let me get his little ears glued on. My nose is starting to run, y'all. It's getting that time of night. Okay. Yeah, we got to give him, I think I'm going to give him white horns. I'm going to give him white horns. And I'm going to join them together so that they're a little bit stronger when I put them on him. Oscar, are you already snoring in there, bud? You just was in here. There we go. Gotta remember to leave room for his eyelashes. The eyelashes are what's gonna make this little girl. This little heifer. You little heifer. He's pulled horns out. Okay. There's our little horns. Hang on, that's a bad angle. There's her little face, her little nostrils, little tongue. I've got to clean her up. There's her little floppy leather ears and her horns. Now she's got to have a little tail, but I'm going to give her a little white tail. I'm going to give her a little black tail with a white bottom that hangs. That's what we'll do. We'll give her this. See, now everybody's confused. You're going to start making a pom-pom Christmas ornament, and then somehow you're going to transition to a cow, and you're going to like, well, I was making a pom-pom. What happened? And then you're going to remember, oh, Elizabeth changed her mind. So you're gonna know how to make two. You can like make two ornaments now. But if you aren't careful, you're gonna tell somebody you're gonna make a pom pom ornament, and then you're gonna hand deliver a cow, and they're gonna be like, "What happened there?" And you're gonna be like, "Elizabeth happened." It was all Elizabeth's fault. Blame it on me. But, you got 2 lessons for the price of 1, so hey. That's pretty good, I think. Now, if you know my daughter-in-law, Kaylee, you may not tell her about this. Okay, so this is going to be the little tail. I'm going to have to get all my glue strips off of this later. Y'all stop courting! Sorry, I got Tomcat visiting. He was being rather vocal. Okay, I'm going to put the tail on. Got a tomcat, I got a crooner outside. He is just singing. Okay, what's this one? Don't burn me. But once I get all the glue and fabric crap off of here, it'll be pretty. Okay, the tail is on. Tail is on, horns are on, face is on. My nose is stopped up. But I've got to get all of this off here. I'm literally thinking about either doing dangly legs. Let's do dangly legs. Let's do dangly legs. Let's see here. Well, my back's beginning to hurt from sitting here. We'll do the dangly legs, and then all you all will miss are the eyelashes, and I can take a picture of those tomorrow and post. That won't be a horrible thing to miss, will it? You just won't care to miss the eyelashes, will you? There. Y'all know how eyelashes go on. So it won't be a huge thing to miss. But I will take photos before I hide this little booger. Okay, let's see if I can do this. This is going to be very difficult. Oh, sweaty. Me and my glue gun are not on good terms. The first of the 4 feet are going on, the first hoof. First hoof is on. And they're just little wooden beads. Ooh. About spilled that one. Second hoof going on. Let me hold these for a second. So these are the little hooves I'm using. They're just little wood beads. They have a hole on one side but not in the other, so I'm going to be able to draw a little split hoof on them when I get them dried on. Okay, now let's do the last 2. First of the hind feet going on. Mark myself, mark myself, mark myself. Okay, got that one on. The last hind foot going on. Oh my goodness. I don't want to take a chance and have them fall off. Okay, there's little feet hanging, and so I'm gonna, when they dry on there really good, I'm gonna put a little brown marker and put a little split hoof on there for a cow. And then I'm going to fluff all of this up, trim off all of the icky ickies, and put on the eyelashes. How many people are still alive and with me? Got 5. Let me go see if I can find those eyelashes, and we'll just put them on right now. That way you just don't have to worry about what it looks like. Alright, y'all just stay there. I'll be right back. Well, I think I've had somebody eyebrowing at me. I do believe my daughter may have stolen my eyelashes. I just had 2 new pair. But you know something? That's okay. I'll find some or I'll make some. That's just how I am. Alright, I'm going to try to get all the glue all of this thing, get it shaped up, and I'll take some pictures. But, yeah. So you could either make a little pom-pom ornament, or do like I did, and make your daughter-in-law a cow. Because she's a cow freak. And the only thing I have left to do is to split the hooves and put on the eyelashes. Didn't it turn out cute? And I may put some glue on its horns and twist its horns a little bit so that they stand out a little bit more. I love the little leather floppy ears. I think I'm going to name her Erlane. Oh, this is so cute. And I'm going to add a bow to Erlane, top of Erlane's head. I've got some white ribbon, and I've got some plaid, red and white plaid ribbon, I think, too. So, we make ornaments every year for each year. This is going to be Kaylee's ornament for this year. I think I'm going to glue that leg up a little bit more. So, did y'all enjoy the adventure? Onto the cow ornament. You had no idea. We thought we was going to make a little Posh ornament and ended up making a freaking heifer. You just never know what I may create. Tomorrow is definitely going to be Gnome Day, though. So once I get Erlane all cleaned up, I will take some beauty shots. And then Erlane will get her eyelashes, and then she will be wrapped. I'm probably going to put a ribbon on her tail, too. That means she's a kicker. Tomorrow's definitely going to be Gnome Day, though. Gosh, it's 10 o'clock. I appreciate y'all for sitting with me and doing this. This is just kind of the haphazards of whatever you have. You can turn into whatever you think you can make it become. And this would have been just absolutely adorable as just a little Posh floral pom ball, you know, ornament. But, you know, I got halfway through and saw a Holstein heifer, so that's where we went with it. But I know one young lady that is going to laugh wholeheartedly at this and put it on her tree for years to come. So I think I'm also going to give her a little wood bead topper at the top for her hanger. Very cute. I will set her up for some professional photography. And then tomorrow we will work on gnomes. So it turned out very cute, didn't it? Anyone that's emailing me, I'm going to check emails after I get off here and clean my kitchen up for just a minute. I'm going to check emails and I will respond to you. This is like the cutest little random brain vomit ornament ever. I'm so glad I sat down and did this evening. Kaylee's going to love this. And tomorrow we'll make the first of her gnomes, and I think I'm going to start with the red-headed one that's going to look like a leprechaun. So Lane Allen's gnome is going to be first. So tomorrow we will make our little Lane Allen gnome. And now remember, the Lane Allen gnome is going to have a Chaytak dog. So we got to make a Chay dog to go with the Lane Allen gnome. And I don't know how I'm going to do that. It'll come to me as we're talking, I'm sure. And then Lane also has to have an axe, and he has to have his wood rope that he slings up over his trees when he climbs his trees, because you know my son's an arborist. So that gnome is going to have to be an arborist tree surgeon gnome. So it's going to be an interesting gnome. So tomorrow's project probably will be a little bit harder than I'm anticipating, but I always like the things that make me think. So, but Erlane, the Holstein heifer, turned out adorable. Look, she's feeling a little wild. Her tail's just a half-mast. I think this turned out adorable. And had I thought about that before, that would have been something I probably would have made a couple of for cow lovers. But I think Erlane is adorable. Oh, you need a plumber gnome. That can be done. Make sure you email me. And y'all, they're not as expensive as you think they are. So it just depends on how big you need them. And mostly the shipping is what I have to think of. That's why I only put enough beans in the bottom to hold them up. And then I fill them with fluff the rest of the way so that I'm not shipping beans, because that would be a pain in the butt. I can make a plumber. We could fashion even a monkey wrench out of tinfoil or something and glue it, and put super glue, or not super glue, but hot glue all over it and form it and make it look like a monkey wrench. And I'm sure I've got something that looks like PVC pipe around here. Okay, I'll check my email as soon as I get situated. I'll get Erlene cleaned up and get her pictures done and clean my kitchen, and then I'll get situated. And when I calm down at night, I check my emails. So anybody that's emailed me today, I'm fixing to check and respond. Don't worry, it will happen. I'm just tickled with this. This turned out so cute. Because I thought, well, I'll show them how to do this palm ornament, because it's something that anybody can do. But then I'm so glad I sat down and it turned into something else. So glad. I'm going to glue that on over here a little bit so it balances out a little bit better. I'm just really glad that this happened this way. Now, I appreciate all the time you spend with me, and I hope you get something from it. I hate to, time is something that you can't get back, so please don't offer it to me if you don't thoroughly enjoy your time here with me. I know Priscilla is sick right now, but as soon as she starts feeling better, we're going to try to do a couple of our crafts that we've planned to do together. And we may be a little late on those because she is now sick with whatever me and my family just got over with. And we live a state and a half apart. I did not give it to her. But it just seems like it is just making its rounds around the rural mountains something horrible right now. So everybody's getting it. So toss up some prayers for Priscilla that she feels better. And Denise is here tonight, so obviously she's still kicking. We're glad to see that. She's been battling the beer flu, so keep her in your prayers. And I felt so much better today, and I look so much better today, and I'm getting irritated at my nasty house, so I know I'm getting better. So we're on the mend, so let's just keep being creative and stay on the mend. I'm going to trim this. I'm going to let her dry real good, and then I'm going to fluff her, tumble her real good, and I'm going to give her a haircut. I appreciate y'all's time with me so much, and come back tomorrow, and we'll start the gnomes. First one, we'll do, we'll start with Lane's redheaded one unless I have a purchase made and they want to watch it be done live. If I have a purchase made, then we will watch one be done, started live. I may not get it all done live, but I'll start it with yins. Me and Erlene are going to go veg out and take some promo heifer codes. Promo heifer photos, yeah. I got to split her hooves first. Don't worry, Erlene, it won't hurt. Erlene says, moo. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to go do the dishes and take pictures of my cow. Nothing odd about that at all. Love y'all. Mama Liz out.